Well, the fans are definitely picking up on it already, which is interesting.
They're starting to. It's also a lot of people not noticing.
Yeah.
They're all excited by Anita Dobson, because at the same time there's a sleight of hand with Anita Dobson being overtly mysterious. Very much kind of internet age storytelling where...
And was that deliberate?
Yes, you just hope it'll generate content. It's kind of proved to be very popular. People are really taking off with it.
Now, part 2. We had Millie Gibson in the theatre pop up and say a little 1 minute hello, and that was lovely. But there was something said in her little address to the audience. Do you remember what it was?
I don't.
She said, "Thank you for following my journey and what will be my final story as a companion as we wrap up the saga of Ruby Sunday, and you get answers to some of the mysteries, not all." And I heard the audience groan.
Really?
I heard the audience groan because we weren't going to get answers to, the mystery box, which is a very common complaint in Revival Who. But it only really comes out when audiences have lost their patience. It may not be well shot. It's got that Phil Collins and gleam all over it, but the next minute or two really, really works for me. I like Russell's End of Days bombast. I think he always makes it scary.
Yeah.
I think he's very, very good at it, even when he throws in silly beats. It keeps the momentum up as something very scary.
Yeah. And I do like this bit with the unit guys and with Kate, talking about her birds and...
No, but this is tense. This is great. Our sidecast are in great danger, and it feels dangerous. It's this scene, strangely, that sort of does tip you off that, oh no, everyone's going to come back fine. And I know that shit doesn't matter, but in the moment it does matter.
Yeah.
Her final lines, Mrs. Flood, is literally, "I had such plans in series 2. And it's like, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah. Well, you thought she was Susan, right?
Yeah, because I think the actress is doing a Carol and Ford impression. I still insist that. And I think, wow, they're not actually going to finish this off without some kind of literal, tangible link to Susan, right? She can't just be here as some wordplay and thematic baggage later. Look at this.
Nice iPad.
You could say, yes, I was engaged because, I'm playing along. It's a pity watch, but I'm not completely tuned out. I'm not that cynical. I think Susan, maybe if not in this episode, would have been a great thing for a Christmas special about reuniting family.
Yeah.
I saw the links. I see the parallel that Russell was doing as to why bring in Susan when we're doing an adoption story. Because the Doctor did abandon Susan, and it's interesting to have a character on the other end of things. I saw those strands. I saw what Russell was doing. I liked it, and it will work in a scene at the very, very end of this episode, I think, in passing. But I saw those links, and I thought, yeah, Mrs. Flood is Susan, and then maybe we could do something there. And now it's not, and I don't feel any kind of way about it. You would think, oh, maybe that's why you didn't like the episode, Sam. It's like, no, I was being polite by theorizing.
Yeah.
And this episode will tell you that the identity of Ruby's mother and her mother being a god-type figure was a big mystery that we've all been thinking about. And Russell, you're giving yourself too much credit there, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
A long time ago, in the England of 1911, Sutekh had been bound and imprisoned for all eternity, but he rose again, and I defeated him. I cast you into the time vortex. I sent you forward to your own death.
This is pathetic. This made my eyes roll into my skull. The Doctor didn't boot up a terminal in Gridlock and show the audience telesnaps of the macro terror.
It looks very cozy in the time vortex there.
The best thing that came out of this episode are the Sutekh memes. We all love him quite dearly. Is it not just really telling that Russell has had so many opportunities writing for this program that he's now falling back on his fan cannons he had as a 10-year-old? That's the ideas he has left in the old idea box. And he's going to move legal heaven and earth to make sure as many people as possible can see his version of nostalgia. It's bizarre to me. We didn't know there was a mystery. We didn't know that was the heart of the mystery, and we certainly didn't really care. Because like some other friends have pointed out, we don't know why Ruby cares. But tell you who does. Sutekh, the god of death.
Yeah. He's just like, oh my god, this is going to trip the Doctor so good. Not just Russell's, but a few writers. I mean, the showrunners just doing the same master beats, essentially, but taking like a rival of the Doctor and being like, I'm going to troll them, I'm going to tease them, I'm obsessed with playing tricks on the Doctor. Like, why would Sutekh, why is that his MO?
Why would he understand emotional manipulation and trickery? Why would he want to lay a personal trap for the Doctor? It's inappropriate. And if you want to have a villain who's like a fan parallel, we had Toymaker last year.
Yeah.
Rearranging the Doctor's history like a puzzle. Did you like it, Doctor?
No, not a fan of the rearranging.
I thought that was going to happen here, and no, it actually turns out that it's Sutekh who's the text for the Mega Nerd. What?
Yeah, go on then. Let's talk about the memory TARDIS.
So, I did swear in the theatre when, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to everyone there. I didn't want to ruin anyone's time. I couldn't help myself. They were looking at a TV screen of Tom Baker, and then they ran inside to the memory TARDIS and looked around. And Shooty says something here. It's not safe. We're in an absolute death trap. We're being held together by the final remnants of our memories of Doctor Who. What a fucking admission of defeat.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing here? That's sadder than Doctor in Distress. That's sadder than the Timeless Children montage.
You're so right.
What the fuck? It's like that meme. Oh, he admitted it.
Yeah, it's such a good symbol of like the corpse that is currently Doctor Who. All it has is nostalgia. All it has is memory, and everything else of value is gone.
But then look at where Shooty started off. It was a big, big statement that said, this is the refreshment of we're refreshing the formula. But no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. We've got a new actor, but a season later, we are running on half-remembered, cheeky Russell T Davies formula fumes.
Mm.
It's stretched thinner than the fatigue that 15 was meant to drop. And it's unforgivable, I think.
And we've gotten there so quick as well. We like, from the giggle to here, it's astounding that we got to this point.
Absolute nonsense.
We never got to the point we were supposed to, of like, this is new, this is different,
And it might have helped if we didn't have a 1970s villain who's completely over-mythologized as the series' big bad. Because I think the main crime, the wordplay is embarrassing. The main crime of the cliffhanger is that the Susan Sutekh twist doesn't mean anything to any new viewers. There's no emotional punch. You're just being told that this is a big bad.
Yeah.
Another big bad. I could talk about the memory TARDIS for a full video, man. I really fucking could. I'll say this. It's just as egregious as the Doctor hologram in Power of the Doctor saving the entire plot. It's just as, hang on, what? And pathetic, relying on the past, as ever. And it fixes the finale. Man, is that Smiley season you were talking about?
Yeah, exactly. It's much smilier. It's so much more fun. It's mad.
The entire point of the Doctor Who programme was an exercise in death, in inevitable death spreading.
Yeah.
Like the COVID-19 virus, which I
No.
got at the screening of Empire of Death.
Oh God, you ingested Sutekh's dust of death.
I did this. I thought it was fun.
Any thought on Shooty while we're here in a typical, like, good, but typical Shooty sort of beat?
Well, it's emotional maximalism. He's doing nothing wrong. Shooty can do no wrong. I don't think he's done one bad delivery since he's been on the programme.
Yeah, I'm pretty much inclined to agree.
Even this version, even what this scene is saying, and like my entire joyride of a life. Who am I to say I think I've been spreading life and joy and happiness, and I haven't. I've been spreading death. It's going back to the doomed Time Lord, but I don't know. This beat in isolation, it's really good. It's just a shame that it's all of the emotional journey we'll see in this episode. It's like a quick espresso of guilt and angsting, but then big time skip and any journey has happened off screen. It's just not Russell. It's uncharacteristic.
Venus, Telos, Khan.
And Ice World. And Sablon Glitz. Even Mavic Chen? Yeah. And the Passamide Slovene. The Crotons, Mel. Can you believe it? The Crotons are gone.
The Crotons.
And Skyro.
The Daleks are dead.
Everything is dead.
The Sensorites. They're gone.
I loved those men.
Oh.
At least there's some nice choir and the actors get to do some acting. That was my big takeaway of the specials as well.
Yeah.
Is when Russell slows down and stops making himself his own main character.
Damn.
He lets his bright young leads actually do some lifting with some good meaty material.
Who is the little one?
I think I called her Brindle.
We didn't have these scenes in the Chibnall years. We had good actors who got nothing. Here, good actors are getting everything, but it's not connected to anything.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way of describing it.
But I do remember I remember nudging you and being like, this is sick. I love this. I love this. What a shot.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking that now we've got that part 1 out of the way. Now we've got the audience tag done. Maybe part 2 can get rid of the gotchas and be an actual story beyond fan brain. And I think in moments it is. I think it's an actual functioning story with a nice ending. No, I like this. On the whole, I like The Empire of Death.
Okay.
I just think it's got an incredibly misguided thing at the heart of it, and I don't think anything could bounce back from the cliffhanger that preceded it.
Yeah. There are really strong beats in here. And, if you sort of blur your vision a bit, you kind of appreciate, oh, this is good. But whatever. I look at Moffat scripts and I'll see new things in them every time. They can make me look at the world differently, not to be that cringe about it.
Stories evolve with you, and they grow up with you, I find, with Moffat stories. Russell stories never did that, but they didn't need to on the first go-round.
Yeah.
They had the time capsule appeal, like, say, Back to the Future, where it's like, it doesn't develop. It was shot on standard definition, but my God, it makes you feel the hype of living in 2008. And that doesn't go away. It goes away if you start trying to emulate it or have cheap gotcha TV gimmicks.
But yeah, this scene, it does just show he can write. Like, the dude can fucking write a good scene.
73 yards. Many scenes in that show he can write a good, captivating scene. And Church on Ruby Road is a pretty complete bit of telly. He's got it. He's got the juice. He just doesn't really care about some parts of the process at this point.
His priorities are in the wrong place.
I think it's showrunner fatigue. I think he's tired. I think he's done all this before.
Yeah, I mean that would explain why so many of the basic things that you'd expect just aren't there. And it feels either too lazy or too proud of his own work to do that homework.
He's got something to prove, like Dan said last time. There's something in that. Which is weird, because he's got absolutely nothing to prove. This was a slam dunk the second his return was announced.
How you say you're post-canon, right?
Yes.
I think as a writer, because he's done so much of it from that perspective, he's moved past a lot of the things that other writers still value and therefore audiences value. There are essential things that he's done so much of that maybe he's just let's see what a story looks like if we just don't, put in the effort to do like the spring cleaning and like the housekeeping on my story. But I want to do these beats, so let's just chuck them in. I don't have to, justify it all to an audience. Maybe that's where his head's at.
I joked last time that all of his finales are crap, or they're all Davis Ex Machinas. They are all in a state of play. But this go round, I think he's just so much more eager to get to the state of play and start doing all these naughty, cheeky little things that you can talk about on the Unleashed footage after.
Yeah.
And it doesn't leave you with any story in between point A and point B.
I think there's a lot of fatigue from like Who fans from the Chibnall years. I think we spent so much time sort of trying to work through it and understand why it was bad. That made sense in that context, but we're here again and it's not good, but for really different reasons. But I just feel like there's going to be no interest in even passing through it.
I think a lot of them are the same reasons. We're not telling new stories yet. Moffat did briefly. Chibnall didn't.
Yeah.
Now Russell isn't.
Yeah.
And now Moffat isn't. So it's like, no, what's happening? It's all falling apart.
Yeah. I do hope it just gets out of the hands of the sort of Fitzroy, WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And we can just get lots more new people, even if they're not Doctor Who fan. There are lots of fantastic writers out there. There's so much good telly. Just none of it's Doctor Who.
All I have to say to that is, look at Shootsy and Millie right now. Not a bad word has been said about either of them. I think the fandom is collectively in love with them. And if we had that energy, not just in front of the screen, but behind the scenes, Doctor Who is back, baby. Or at least it has a fighting chance.
There's still so much potential in Doctor Who. I really believe that. It's just a case of seeing that.
It'll stagnate if you leave it with the same people in the same generation for too long. And that's true of absolutely anything. At the last minute, we'd just be like, look, there's a mystery. There's been a mystery this whole time, and you have very vested opinions in the mystery for me to come in and subvert later. And it's like, no, I didn't. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe just taking Mrs. Flood out would really help this episode.
You think so?
It gives you more than one mystery to think about, and that's not good.
I still don't get this. The whole link to 73 yards, I still don't understand how that works. Again, the basic stuff that Russell should be doing. Like, he did it when he mentioned Susan in The Devil's Cord. But then in 73 yards, if this is where he's ending up, he should also go, one of Gulliam's ministers or whatever is doing a DNA thing. Just, even if it's just a passing nothing line.
No, he's cutting corners. At its foundation, the iPad is telling them where to go next. So
God.
that's the basics, man. I joke that a UK TV gold rerun of Pyramids of Mars is saving the day. But it fucking is.
Yeah.
And it's doing it through a lot of cut corners and big leaps.
Apparently this whistle was supposed to be something, like, there was supposed to be more to it, which didn't make it to the screen.
Oh, again? That keeps happening this season. Press the button, Ruby. It's been nonsense scripts cut within an inch of their life. It's just as hard to follow as a Chibnall script. I think the trick to enjoying TV like this is that you gotta get into like the centenary mindset, where you just can't be mad at it. You can't stay mad at it. You have to think of Doctor Who as being a bit beneath you, which is sad, and I don't want to do. But if you do that, and you accept that the show is long cooked, then you can just enjoy it without having... without it weighing you down.
I don't know if I want to do that, though. I think I'd rather just not watch the show.
I think I'd engage with it and pick out the parts that work and don't work and enjoy the plethora of good Doctor Who that does exist that we haven't consumed yet.
I've been thinking about it, like, since we were looking at Sutekh and, like, where we thought this story was going. Like, if I got this script, if I found out what the resolution was going to be, and I wanted to sort of Doctor Who it up a bit, do that sort of subverting the typical good guy kills bad guy thing with a sort of humanist, nurturing, kind approach. That's what I think Doctor Who should be. To me, at least, it would have been more compelling if in some way the Doctor sort of convinced Sutekh, don't just kill everything, be the guardian of death, because death is essential, death is inevitable. That doesn't have to be a big scary thing we have to hide from, and we don't have to kill death. Go off and be the Grim Reaper. And Sutekh, or whatever, events, decides to go, yeah, you know what, fine. But instead, it's just, you're the bad guy who's killing everything. Killing is bad, death is bad. Everyone lives.
That's why I call these episodes pretentious, because it is just black and white, good versus evil, and it's got real allusions to it being something more.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least Russell does in his little vams. He talks about every right decision he made.
Mm-hmm. And how amazing it is, yeah.
Usually, hey, I feel like we're playing this up.
I'm trying to get it all out now so I don't have to do this for the next 3 to 5 years. If the show's not good, I will maybe talk about it for like a day, but then I will go read a VNA. I'll go listen to, like, I don't know, Chimes of Midnight again. I'll see that someone's created a new fanfic, a new, like, audio, like, and I'll go, oh, let's go, that's where we need to shift, I think.
That's the thing. I'll commit to that too. I've been committed to that because Russell says...
I mean, that's your whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, Russell said back in the day, oh, these new kids are writing stories. They're doing them now. And I'm like, yeah, Russell, I actually read them. I read them, and these people are talented and good, and I think being a bit cheated. That's a really good place to leave it. If we're going to be casual fans, then let's treat it casually going forward. I'm in the weird position with that where I'm in that camp, but I do want to make videos about it. So where do I land?
Yeah, that's a good
Help
point.
me.
You're sort of...
Save me, George.
indentured servitude to the Whovian discourse.
Forum dweller for life.
That's you, mate.
Got to. You got to change your mode of viewing quick, otherwise we're fucked.
This isn't appealing to most of us. So what do we do with that? Like, I think we're at a point where we just wait till the show's good again. And it will be. Inevitably.
Yes.
It will be good again. It will always be good again at some point. It might be 3 years, it might be 30, but it just won't be on BBC One. You might just have to look for it. You might have to pay a bit of money to get there. But that's what I would that's my call to action, I think, coming out of this. Seriously, it's just like, the show is not good. So one, find the stuff that is good, which has been, hidden from you. And two, make it yourself. Like, if the show is not going to do it for us, fine, we'll do it ourselves. There is really good story here, but we'll tell it instead. If you're not going to entertain us, we will entertain ourselves.
And you give that advice, you give that call to action when TV has never been less relevant.
Yeah.
The line between fan writer and writer is literally a Disney deal now. Even the TV Doctor Who that we put on a pedestal is on its last legs and doesn't mean much to most people anymore. So write that goddamn story and release it for charity or something. I don't know. I'm not your dad.
Yeah.
And Russell isn't your dad either.
It's taken you a while to accept that. Thanks, Sam.
No, it's an ongoing journey, George.
Yeah, I see.
I have more of a character arc than the characters on screen.
You're in Russell T. Daddy's Anonymous.
I joke, but I think the fandom is more interesting than the show.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm actually really, really mad at RTD2 is because I think his Doctor Who right at the minute, I think it invites dull conversations.
Yeah.
Maybe us included.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Flood. Oh, Davros. Oh, Mavity is marvellous. Memory TARDIS, marvellous. Yeah. It's fucking boring. We are culturally ahead of the show and the people who funnel the show. It's like your dad on Facebook.
While we're here, can we please talk about this fucking rope? Because I can't come to terms with it. I'm still angry about it. I know I shouldn't be.
Oh, sorry, the rope that solves the story. Their big plan to defeat the god of death is put a rope around his neck.
The magic rope, which apparently holds atoms or something, I forgot what he said, is dragging the naughty dog.
Yes.
I.e., what has been like pushed to us as the biggest, most demanding challenge, and it's just a rope.
He defeated the god of death with a game of catch. Yep.
He should just be able to dust the rope, and then also dying in the time vortex, although he's been living in it for thousands of years. You know, these are things people have said.
But what a big set piece.
Oh yeah, like again, it's the same thing over and over again. In isolation, if I'm watching this clip on YouTube, it's awesome. It's so cool. Oh, look at that. So good.
Really sick.
Yeah.
I was in the cinema
Yeah.
smiling like a little boy. But it's short-lived. It's a short fix. Russell wrote this story as a little fan headcanon he had when he was a young boy, thinking he watched the ending Pyramids of Mars and said, hang on, you just sent him back into the time vortex. He'd still be alive, surely. And now we come to modern day, and that's the basis. A nerdy 70s headcanon is literally the basis of a drama piece of TV. It's the Timeless Children again. It's the Morbius Doctors. What? This can't keep being our priorities.
Methylene, Califrax, Spyridon, Telos.
And it's Metabolist free. Welcome back, Clom.
He feels alive.
We're so cynical,
I
man.
know.
We're done. Maybe it's us who are cooked.
Oh no, we are for sure. We are. But you got to be true to yourself.
Here's how I feel. Would you be surprised if Gallifrey was just brought back there and then?
I fucking hope so. I hope so.
That would be junk. What are you talking about? You hope
I know.
so.
I want Gallifrey. I don't care.
Okay,
Like,
go along
I
with my
want-
thought experiment, though. It
Okay,
could have
okay.
just been turned on like a lamp switch again in a passing scene, and they just go, oh, I'm Gallifrey! And Ncuti acts the hell out of it. But that's how Russell brings back Gallifrey. Through no fucking big beat, it just happens. Because life was spread nebulously. We're at that point with the programme where that could have just happened. It even seems in character for Russell. And then we just continue on.
We've seen that, but we've seen that before. Like,
We've seen it many times, and that's where the exhaustion comes in. It's that level of banality to it now. It's just like, yeah, sure.
yeah, here we are.
Because if you're dead, then I must represent life. Surely that's what I am. Life.
This works for me.
Shooty's fantastic. You know, he's
No,
working it.
I like what Russell's doing here. Just making the embodiment of life. If we're gonna play with the pantheon for a bit, if the Time Lords aren't mythical or interesting anymore, make a new mythology, and then that can be exciting and mysterious for a few seasons, and then we go on to something else.
I can accept that.
You can't just have him pinned down as any one thing, and I think with the current things the season's thrown at us, you know, the regeneration energy, the timeless child mystery. I think having this Doctor be like the god of life is a good thing to attribute him with.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
maybe the show will get a bit of that new life.
Yeah.
Maybe. He breathes life into a butterfly in episode 1.
Oh mate, you're so on it. That's literally what's happening. I just hope that moving forward, the MO of the Doctor, of how they sort of resolve these conflicts, becomes more nurturing, becomes less let me bomb it, let me do a bit of button pressing and kill it.
May I say, earlier this season, he told Ruby that he has no job and no purpose. When this episode clearly indicates he does. He does have a purpose, and it's to go around the world vaguely spreading life. And that's a mission statement for the show. That's not some nerdy lore shit.
Like, and by spreading life, you do that by turning the bad guys into good guys. That's my like very basic view of it.
Let's get there. Yeah, I like what you did for Sutekh. Let's get there.
Yeah. Should we talk about this?
Please, and we're on the clock.
Oh my gosh, we are on the clock. Go on, you love this in the cinema, didn't you?
So we're playing with Rise of Skywalker. Russell T Davies saw a very specific cultural moment. I assume he saw how that went down, and he wants to give his own 2 cents. That it doesn't matter where you came from, because you can just be a normal person, normal people, and it's like, hang on, Russell, no, what? Normal people Normal, everyday people have been the backbone of this series and its message since you came back. What? This is no different from the Doctor saying, oh, normal life, that's one thing I never had. We've been championing the mundane beauty of life since 2005.
Yeah.
It's not a twist. It's just not a twist.
No.
He's been playing his own little mind games in his own head to what he thinks his audience looks like. He thinks his fandom is the Star Wars fandom, and it's not.
Yeah.
Frankly, we are so much brighter than that. But then, what's this season been? Oh, look, it's just like the ending of WandaVision to make that cursed parallel where the mystery and the drama takes a second spot, where the fandom doesn't talk about that. They talk about who's the big bad behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Sutekh? Is it the Rani? Is it Mephisto? What are we doing here?
Again, in isolation, you could tell something really compelling here. But with the context of this season, all the crazy stuff that's been happening around Ruby, which apparently she has all that crazy magic just because they think it's important. They think the mum is special, therefore she can do it. But
she can summon snow, and Maestro says that she's an alien.
When you interrogate that, the questioning, it falls apart immediately.
We only think this way because we've been taught to look for things this way by Russell himself, and because Russell has been directly cheating and telling us that something is up with Ruby. Does this scene work? I think it does. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I do.
That's where we're at. Just going, how about this one?
I like the scene.
Ruby?
That's me. I was named after a road.
No, I like the scene. And like the idea of the coffee, like Russ thought it was very clever. He said so himself, but it works. And it's mostly the music, and it is mostly, Millie.
It's a very, very stereotypical adoption story, but I like that Russell has thought to make it an adoption story nonetheless. I'm not adopted, but I would like to adopt. It's one of those themes that resonates with me very, very much. So the fact that we're seeing the master of British drama do a fine, perfunctory adoption scene, of course it's good, but it's not enough after everything we've just watched.
No, this doesn't make sense to me either. Like the Doctor once again being like, oh, I have to be homeless in my TARDIS. I can't.
No.
I hate it.
That's not what that look is, bud. George, that's not what that look is. That look is some subtext of I'm guilty of abandoning my adopted kid as well.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's realised I'm not beyond it. I'm not beyond saving. I still have family.
You're right. It's going to be recontextualised next year or the year after. You're so right.
I haven't liked the mystery. I didn't know it was a mystery to the 11th hour. But I think it's right that she just lives some life with her mums.
In my view, I think he could have done a Clara Doctor season 8 thing. She has a home life, but he, as her in theory best friend, he's knocking about while she's, making this transition into her new life. He's there for her, with her. I would have liked that.
So there has been a very faint, very overly familiar trait of 15 thinking that he's the problem. And not 5 minutes ago, he was just giving Ruby bad advice. Don't meet up with your mother. It's that guilt, it's that denial, it's that past of being hurt. I love this beat. Is it annoying to have 2 vague companion exits in a row? Yes, but he is not the good influence that will help her adjust to this new life she's got to go live. He's the parental figure who abandoned his kid and did not see her for 1,000 millennia. They haven't gone through big journeys, not on screen, not really.
And that may be down to the runtime thing.
I've been the runtime and the episode count's biggest hater from day one. Nothing good will come out of it, not for drama and not for Doctor Who serialised storytelling, and both took a massive hit this year. I mean, fewer episodes just means fewer chances for a story to be good. I think I can finish off my thoughts of this story with, I will just read out a tweet verbatim. That's the level of quality you should expect from this channel. If you went back to this scene from the giggle and you told, you know, the one where like, I'm fine because you fix yourself. And 14, he leaves the TARDIS in capable hands as he goes on his healing journey. If you went back to that scene and told 14 and 15 that a 70s lore villain is listening in as they speak, and that in a season's time, they'd be huddled around an iPad watching Pyramids of Mars, and the Doctor angsting about destroying the universe again, I think 14 would have topped himself.
Yeah.
And it took us 8 episodes to get back here. Like, it's not that I never want the Doctor to be challenged again. You can just find new ways to do it. And this episode got pretty close with the personal stakes of Susan. Ending it with Ruby's departure. That's plenty if we care about these characters.
Yeah. You can certainly challenge the Doctor, like have like drama for them, but it doesn't have to be around how beat up they are, how much guilt they feel. Like, there's so much of that.
Same old. And which villain has come back? Same old, same old.
Yeah.
I think it tells us that the cameos and the mystery boxes, they're tired as well now. It's done. It's time for the next thing. Is not what you want to be saying at the end of series 1 of your new show.
Anyone who sort of feels similarly, like, what do we do now? And I think, you know, we'll watch the show, we'll talk about it, sort of wait for it to be good, be disappointed, but then again, go seek other things out.
Yeah, go with a little rag, but we watch films and we read comics and One Piece. I've been joking lately. The answer to any problem you have with Doctor Who is read One Piece. It's your only salvation. It's your only way out. That's a joke, of course, but ultimately,
I don't know if it is a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's jump ship. Jump ship.
There's still time.
Literally jump from...
You can read 2,000 chapters in a couple months. There's so much stuff out there, and a lot of it is Doctor Who. If this sounds defeatist, it's not, because Russell doesn't have a monopoly on the show. Bad Wolf doesn't, and neither do Disney, and neither did the BBC. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Fandoms are what you make of them. I remember coming out of the screen for this and thinking, holy fuck, fresh air. And just had a big smile on my face, and there were lots of people coming out pissed. And I wish I had just like stopped and asked some of them, because I know what you thought of it. I've now everyone does. But like, were they mad at it truly for the same reasons people were mad at, say, like The Last Jedi or something? Or have general audiences evolved from that point of culture? Were they mad at it for reasons like maybe we are? It's hard to know. You can't gauge pop culture this broadly, but Russell T Davies sure does keep trying.
Let's just go watch Godzilla again. Should we just do that?
Godzilla! Oh my god! Okay, before we saw Godzilla versus Megalon, and that was a much more culturally enriching experience with a crowd in the dark. That was nerdy fandom done right. We should have done a whole video just talking over that movie.
That should have been the joke.
Yeah,